So in the previous class, I have discussed the multiple choice questions from 1 to 10. So now I am going to discuss the questions starting from number 11, which you have already tried earlier. I am going to give you the solution. Discuss the solution for the questions from 11th onwards. See the question number 11 again, which we have shown you on the screen earlier. Water in a river is flowing at 3 km per hour from west to east. Width of river is 400 into root 3 meter. A boat which has a speed of 5 km per hour in still water crosses the river from one bank to the other bank in 576 seconds. The actual distance covered by the boat while crossing the river is, you are given 4 options there. The diagram is given showing the 2 velocities. U represents magnitude velocity of the water in the river. V represents magnitude of relative velocity of boat with respect to the water, or V can be taken as speed of the boat in still water. Come on, the angle between them is theta. So come on, look at the solution of the problem. So in this problem, you are given the width of the river as 400 root 3 meters. I have denoted the width of the river by capital D, and V is the speed of the boat in still water, that is given as 5 km per hour. U is the speed of water in the river, that is 3 km per hour. The time taken to cross the river is given as 576 seconds. Here V is directed, V bar is directed at an angle theta with U bar. So this is the bed of the river. The diagram is understood to be in the horizontal plane, and this is the direction of the flow of river water, which is from west to east. I take the horizontal direction towards east as x-axis, and the horizontal direction along the width of the river as y-axis. So width of the river is denoted by capital D. So you can resolve the velocity v bar into rectangular components parallel to x-axis and y-axis. The component of velocity v bar along x-axis v cos theta. The component of v bar along y-axis is v sin theta. U bar is directed along x-axis. Its component along y-axis will be 0. So displacement in the y direction is equal to velocity in the y direction into time interval. When the boat just crosses the river and reaches the other bank, the displacement in the y direction will be equal to the width of the river. Velocity in the y direction is v sin theta into t. So width of the river is 400 root 3 meters. V is 5 km per hour. You can convert into meter per second because width is expressed in meters, into 5 by 18 meter per second. That's the value of V into sin theta into time taken to cross the river is given to 576 seconds. So you can simplify this to find sin theta. You can try to simplify this to find sin theta. Sin theta you get 400 into root 3 into 18 by 25 into 576. Think you will be able to simplify this yourself? 18 directly gets cancelled here. 32. Then simplify this. You get sin theta equal to root 3 by 2. This part you can easily simplify to yourself. So you get theta equal to 60 degrees. So one may get a doubt, why not theta be 120 degrees? Even if you take theta as 120 degrees, sin theta will be again root 3 by 2. Because sin 120 degrees is same as sin 60 degrees, which is equal to root 3 by 2. That's why in the problem I have shown you the diagram also. I have shown you the directions of V bar and U bar and the angle theta between V bar and U bar. When I have shown you the problem for the first time, I told that theta is acute angle less than 90 degrees as indicated in the figure. So we'll take theta as 60 degrees here. You're asked to find the actual distance covered by the boat while crossing the river. To find the actual distance covered by the boat while crossing the river, you have to find the magnitude of the resultant velocity. Here V bar is the velocity of the boat relative to water. U bar is the velocity of water in the river. So resultant velocity of the boat means velocity of the boat as seen by a stationary observer on one of the banks, or we can say actual velocity of the boat with respect to ground or earth, is the resultant of V bar and U bar. For that, we'll apply the parallelogram law of addition of vectors. As you know that magnitude of the resultant of two vectors P bar and Q bar is given by root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. So here in place of P you have U, in place of Q you have V. So we can find the magnitude of the resultant velocity. So time taken to cross the river is given 576 seconds. So actual distance covered is equal to magnitude of the resultant velocity to time taken. Of course, in the figure I have not shown the path along which the boat actually travels while crossing the river. If you complete the parallelogram by representing the two vectors V bar and U bar graphically by the adjacent sides, such that tail of U bar is attached to tail of V bar, then the diagonal of the parallelogram represents the resultant of V bar and U bar, which I have denoted by VR bar. That means the boat travels in the direction of this resultant velocity and reaches the other bank at this point. Let O be the initial position of the boat. Let B be the point on the other bank at it just reaches the other bank. A is the point on the other bank which is opposite to the initial position. So actual distance covered by the boat is equal to length of the path OB along which the boat travels while crossing the river. That can be written as magnitude of the resultant velocity into time taken. So actual distance covered means length of the path OB is equal to magnitude of the resultant velocity to time taken. You can find the magnitude of the resultant velocity by applying the Parallelogram law of addition of vectors. You can write. So from parallelogram law of addition of vectors, the magnitude of the resultant of v bar and u bar is root of v square plus u square plus 2vu cos theta. Here v equal to 5 km per hour, u equal to 3 km per hour, theta is 60 degrees. And cos 60 degrees equal to 1 by 2. So this is 25 plus 9 plus 2 into 15 into cos 60 degrees 1 by 2. So that comes out to be root 49 or 7 km per hour. So actual distance covered by the boat while crossing the river, as I shown in the figure, actual distance covered is the length of the path OB. That can be written as magnitude of the resultant velocity to time taken to cross the river. So magnitude of the resultant loss is 7 km per hour, or you can write it as 7 into 5 by 18 meter per second into time taken to cross the river is 576 seconds. That's given in the problem. So that you can simplify this yourself. So you get the answer there. 1120 meters or 1.12 kilometers. Then continue. But in the same problem, of course, the problem is completed. The answer is 1120 meters or 1.12 kilometers. But sometimes you can be asked to find the drift of the boat. That means you may be asked to find the distance between the points A and B on the other bank. Here O is the initial position of the boat. A is the point on the other bank directly opposite to the initial position O. And the boat reaches the other bank at the point B. So distance from A to B gives you the distance moved by the boat down the river along the direction of water flow. Or we can say it is the displacement along x-axis. So in case you are asked to find this distance AB, there are two methods. You can apply Pythagoras theorem for the right angle triangle OAB, because OA is the width of the river which is already given in the problem, 400 root 3 meters. OB we have calculated. That is equal to 1120 meters or 1.12 kilometers. So you can apply Pythagoras theorem to find the distance AB. Alternate method is you have to find the x component of the resultant velocity. So resolve V bar into rectangular components parallel to x and y axis. V cos theta acts along x axis in the direction of U bar. V sin theta acts along y axis. Therefore, of course, that is not asked in the given problem, but in case that is asked, you must be able to do that. The x component of the velocity is equal to V cos theta plus U. So distance between the points A and B, which is called drift, is nothing but displacement along x-axis, which is equal to x component of velocity into time taken to cross the river. The time taken to cross the river is given as 576 seconds. This value you can find because V is given as 5 km per hour, U is given as 3 km per hour, theta is given as 60 degrees. You can substitute all these values and simplify that. Cos 60 degree 1 by 2. So this will be how much? 5 by 2 plus 3. 3 plus 2.5, 5.5 kilometer per hour. Or 5.5 into 5 by 18 in meter per second. And t is 576 seconds. Of course, this part of the calculation is not needed to answer the question given. But this is additional discussion beyond the solution of the problem. So look at the question number 12. A boat which has a speed of 12 km per hour in still water is rowed straight across a river of width 600 meters. The velocity of the river water is 5 km per hour. Then what distance the boat travels down the river below the point towards which it was originally directed? You are given drift within brackets. So this problem comes under also one of the special cases I have discussed, where V bar is perpendicular to U bar. Look at the solution of the problem. So here V is given as 12 km per hour. That means V is the speed of the boat in still water. Width of the river is denoted by capital D. That is given as 600 meters. U represents the magnitude of the velocity of the river water, which is given as 5 km per hour. This is the bed of the river. This is the direction of the flow of river water. This is one bank of the river. This is the other bank of the river. Let O be the initial position of the boat on one bank of the river. Let A be the exactly opposite point on the other bank of the river. Here V bar is directed straight across the river. The boat is rowed straight across the river. V bar represents the velocity of the boat relative to water, which is directed straight across the river. That means if there is no flow of water, the boat would travel along the line OA. Here U bar is the velocity of the river water. So the boat moves in the direction of the resultant of V bar and U bar. The resultant velocity of the boat means the velocity with which the boat moves as seen by stationary observer on one of the banks will be the resultant of V bar and U bar. So the boat reaches the other bank at the position B. So B is the final position of the boat. So here, to find the actual distance, here O is the initial position of the boat on one bank of the river. B is the final position of the boat when it just crosses and reaches the other bank. You can choose the direction of the velocity of the water as x-axis, the direction perpendicular to the velocity of the water as y-axis. So displacement along the y direction is equal to velocity in the y direction into time interval. When the boat crosses the river and just reaches the other bank at B, then displacement in the y direction is equal to length of the line OA, that is the width of the river, and the y component of velocity equal to V. That means in this case the angle theta between V bar and U bar is 90 degrees. And time taken to cross the river is denoted by capital T. So here T equal D by V. It means in this case the boat crosses the river in the minimum possible time. D is 600 meters means 0.6 kilometers. V equal 12 kilometer per hour. So the time taken to cross the river will be 1 by 20 hours. You are asked to find the drift. That means you have to find the distance between the points A and B on the other bank. V bar is originally directed toward the opposite point A on the other bank. B is the point at which the boat just reaches the other bank. So a distance from A to B is equal to displacement parallel to the x direction. So displacement parallel to the x direction is equal to velocity in the x direction into time interval. So when the boat just crosses the river and reaches the other bank, displacement in the x direction means it is equal to the drift. Velocity in the x direction equal to u. So here u is equal to 5 km per hour and t is equal to 1 by 20 hour. That will be 0.25 kilometer or 250 meter is the answer. So in case you want to copy the solution of the problem, you can take a pause and copy the solution of the problem. Here question number 13. Two vectors p bar and q bar are inclined to each at an angle theta such that the magnitude of the resultant is q into root 3 by 2 and the resultant is at right angles to p bar. The angle between the vectors p bar and q bar is okay. Look at the solution of this problem. Let us suppose r bar represent the resultant of p bar and q bar, or r bar is the vector sum of p bar and q bar. So we can write r bar equal to p bar plus q bar in vector notation. Letter r without the bar symbol represent the magnitude of the resultant, that is given to be q into root 3 by 2. It's given that the resultant r bar is perpendicular to the first vector p bar. So r bar is perpendicular to the first vector q bar, first vector p bar. So you can try to draw a parallelogram by representing the two vectors p bar and q bar graphically by the adjacent sides of the parallelogram. Such that the tail of q bar attached to the tail of p bar, then the diagonal of the parallelogram passing through their point of intersection represents the resultant r bar. It is given in the problem that resultant r bar is perpendicular to the first vector p bar, like this. So this angle between r bar and p bar is 90 degrees. Let us suppose beta is the angle made by the resultant with the second vector q bar. The parallelogram oppositions are parallel equal. So this will be equal to p bar. So you are given r in terms of q. So from given figure r by q will be equal to adjacent side by hypotenuse side. Length of the side. Length of this side gives you R magnitude of resultant. Length of this hypotenuse side gives you mod of QR. Here we have a right angle triangle. So R by Q gives you cos beta. So you are given R equal to Q into root 3 by 2. So you get cos beta. So you get cos beta equal to root 3 by 2. And you know that cos 30 degrees is root 3 by 2. So beta is 30 degrees. Therefore, angle between P bar and Q bar equal to 90 degrees plus beta, or 90 degrees plus 30 degrees. That will be 120 degrees. Therefore, answer is 120 degrees. See the question number 14. Given F1 plus F2 equal to 16 newtons, and modulus of F1 bar plus F2 bar is 8 newtons, and F1 bar plus F2 bar is perpendicular to the smaller force, then the individual forces are. So look at the solution of this problem. This is also somewhat little bit similar to the previous problem. Look at the solution of the problem. So it's given that magnitude of F1 bar plus magnitude of F2 bar is 16 newtons. Magnitude of the vector sum of F1 bar and F2 bar is 8 newtons. And it is given that resultant of F1 bar and F2 bar is perpendicular to smaller force. Let F1 bar denote the smaller force. So if you construct a parallelogram by representing the two forces F1 bar and F2 bar by the adjacent sides of the parallelogram, such the tail of F1 bar is attached to tail of F2 bar, then the diagonal of the parallelogram represents F1 bar plus F2 bar. The diagonal of the parallelogram passing through the point of intersection represents F1 bar plus F2 bar, which is perpendicular to the first force F1 bar. That means the angle alpha made by the resultant with the first vector is 90 degrees. Therefore, the angle theta between the two forces F1 bar and F2 bar will be more than 90 degrees. The resultant F1 bar plus F2 bar is perpendicular to F1 bar. So you can try to complete the parallelogram. So this is F2 bar, or you can as well show here. F1 bar plus F2 bar acts perpendicular to F1 bar. So length of this side gives you mod of F1 bar. Length of this line gives you mod of F1 bar plus F2 bar. Length of this side gives you F2 bar. You can apply Pythagoras theorem for this right angle triangle. You are given that F1 plus F2 is 16 newtons. So you can write F2 in terms of F1. 16 Newton minus F1. Then apply Pythagoras theorem for this right angle triangle. F2 square equal to F1 square plus square of the magnitude of vector sum of f1 bar and f2 bar. So you are given magnitude of the vector sum of f1 bar and f2 bar equal to 8 Newton. And f2 can be written as 16 Newton minus f1. So this you can simplify to find f1. After finding the value of f1, you can substitute the value of f1 in this equation to find f2. So those who want to copy the solution of the problem, please copy the solution of the problem. Start copying the solution of the problem. The simplification part, you can try to do it yourself. Need not wait till I complete the simplification part. So you get f1 equal to 6 Newton. And if you substitute the value of f1 there, you get f2 equal to 10 Newtons. If you need more time to copy the solution of the problem, you can take a pause and copy the solution of the problem. So look at the question number 15. The magnitude of the vector difference of two vectors will be equal to. Four statements are given here. Statement A, ordinary sum of their magnitudes. The two vectors act in the opposite directions. Statement B, ordinary difference of their magnitudes if the two vectors act in the same direction. Option C. Statement C, magnitude of their vector sum. The two vectors are perpendicular to each other. Magnitude of vector difference will be equal to 0 if the two vectors are equal. This is nothing but all the four special cases which I have discussed in subtraction vectors are put in one question here. So which you should be able to answer. But still you can just have a look at my discussion about the question. As I have discussed earlier, if theta is the angle between the two vectors a bar and b bar, then magnitude of the vector difference a bar minus b bar equal to root of a square plus b square minus 2ab cos theta. Theta between the two vectors is 0 degrees. That is when the two vectors a bar and b bar act in the same direction. Then you can substitute theta equal to 0 degrees and check up. You get mod of a bar minus b bar equal to a minus b if a is greater than b, or b minus a if b is greater than a. It will be 0 if a equal to b. That means magnitude of the vector difference of two vectors will be equal to ordinary difference of their magnitudes. That is mod of a bar minus mod of b bar. I mean if a is greater than b. When the two vectors are in the same direction. The two vectors have same direction and also same magnitude. In that case, you can write a bar equal to b bar. Then a bar minus b bar will be 0 vector, or mod of a bar minus b bar will be 0. That means there are two statements related to this theta equal to 0 degrees in there. Now if the two vectors a bar and b bar act in opposite directions, then angle theta between A bar and B bar will be 180 degrees. So substitute theta equal to 180 degrees. In the equation here, you get mod of A bar minus B bar equal to A plus B, or magnitude of A bar plus magnitude of B bar. Actually, all this discussion I have done already in the special cases. This is the special case 1 in subtraction of vectors. This is the special case 2 in subtraction of vectors. In the special case 3, I have discussed if A bar is perpendicular to B bar, then theta will be 90 degrees. In that case, cos theta will be 0. Magnitude of A bar minus B bar will be root of A square plus B square. Magnitude of A bar plus B bar will also be root of A square plus B square. That means magnitude of the vector difference, the two vectors will be same as magnitude of the vector sum of the two vectors when the two vectors are perpendicular to each other. Look at the question number 16. A boat has a speed of 10 km per hour in still water. A river with parallel banks is flowing at route 19 km per hour. Width of the river is 1 kilometer. Probably most of you might have already answered this question because this problem comes under the combination of both these special cases. That means in this question, you have to find the minimum time required to cross the river, and also time taken to cross the river along the shortest distance path. That means this problem is a combination of the first two special cases which I have discussed in the boat crossing the river. But still look at the solution of the problem. So here you are given V equal 10 km per hour, means speed of boat in still water. It's given as 10 km per hour. U represents magnitude of the velocity of river water, which is given as root 19 km per hour. D is the width of the river, which is given as 1 kilometer. As I discussed in the past, the time taken by the boat or swimmer to cross the river when V bar is directed perpendicular to U bar. Here V bar represents velocity of the boat relative to water. U bar represents the velocity of the river water. This is the bed of the river in the figure. Means this is the direction of the flow of river water. And O is the initial position of the boat on one bank, and A is the exactly opposite point on the other bank. So minimum time taken to cross the river, as I discussed earlier, D by V, width of the river by speed of boat or swimmer is still water. That is 1 kilometer by 10 kilometer per hour, or 1 by 10 hours, means it will 1 by 10 into 60 minutes into 60 seconds. So that will be 360 seconds. Or you can also write as 6 minutes. That's the minimum time required to cross the river. As I discussed earlier, this problem comes under the special case 1 I have discussed in the past in boat crossing the river. And also second special case 2 also involved here. The boat crosses the river along the shortest distance path. Then time taken to cross the river will be D by root of V square minus U square. Here D is 1 kilometer, V is 10 km per hour. So V square will be 10 square, U is root 19. So I get T equal to 1 by root of 100 minus 90 hours, or 1 by root 81, or 1 by 9 hours. So 1 hour is 60 minutes or 60 into 60 seconds by 9. So the time taken by the boat or swimmer to cross the river along the minimum distance path will be 400 seconds. That means the minimum time needed to cross the river is 6 minutes. But in this case, the boat will not move along the line OA. It will move in the direction of the resultant of V bar and U bar like this. Reach the other bank. That means in the case 1, the boat crossed the river minimum time, but distance covered while crossing the river is not minimum. It is not equal to width of the river. The case 2, the boat crosses the river along the shortest distance path from O to A. That means the resultant of V bar and U bar in this case is directed along OA, so that it moves along OA. Of course, this result you can directly use if the problem is given for objective type or multiple choice questions. But by chance, similar problem is given in board examination in the 12th class or in the 11th class exam or in the intermediate first year exam. In that case, you have to derive this result, which I have discussed in the past, used from parallelogram law vectors. Then you can substitute the values. Whereas for objective questions, you can directly use the conclusion. Those who want to copy the solution can take a pause and copy the solution. I'm going to see here. See the question number 17. A man who can swim at a speed V in still water wants to cross a river of width D, flowing with a speed U. The point opposite him across the river is A. There are 4 statements given. This question also, based on the same discussion we have done in the previous question. As I discussed in the previous question, the minimum time required to cross the river is D by V. That means option C is correct. But when the boat crosses the river in minimum time, it will not reach the opposite point A on the other bank. It moves some distance down the river. Therefore, statement A is not correct, because the time taken to cross the river will be D by V in the special case 1, that is when V bar is perpendicular to U bar. But in this case, the boat does not move along the minimum distance path. So the boat will reach the opposite point A when it moves along the shortest distance path. In that case, time taken to cross the river, as I already discussed in the past, is given by D by root of V square minus U square. So statement B is correct. A is not correct. Statement C is also correct. Of course, the boat can reach the opposite point on the other bank only when V is greater than U, because V square minus U square must be positive within the root symbol, otherwise it will become imaginary. That means the boat cannot reach the opposite point on the other bank if U is greater than V. The boat may be able to reach the opposite point on the other bank only when V is greater than U. So statement D is correct. So therefore, except the statement A, the remaining 3 statements are correct. Therefore, Option 3 is the answer. Can look at the next question then. Look at the question number 18. If the angle theta between two forces of equal magnitude is changed to theta minus pi by 3, then magnitude of the resultant becomes root 3 times of the earlier one. The angle theta is. So look at the solution of this problem. In general, if two vectors p bar and q bar have same magnitude, as I discussed in the past, the magnitude of the resultant of the two vectors is given by r equal to 2p cos theta by 2. So magnitude of the resultant in the first case are denoted by r1. The magnitude of the resultant in the second case are denoted by r2. Theta 1 is the angle between the two forces in the first case. Theta 2 is the angle between the two forces in the second case. It's given that the magnitude of the resultant in the second case is root 3 times the magnitude of the resultant in the first case. Therefore, 2p into cos theta 2 by 2 root 3 times. You can substitute these values of r1 and r2 here. So 2p can be cancelled both sides. So given that theta 1 equal to theta and theta 2 equal to theta minus pi by 3. Therefore, cos of theta minus pi by 3 divided by 2. You get root 3 times cos theta by 2. This you can write cos of theta by 2 minus pi by 6 equal root 3 times cos theta by 2. You can use the formula in trigonometry cos A minus B. There is one formula in trigonometry you are supposed to be familiar with. Cos A minus B equal to cos A cos B plus sin A sin B. You can use that formula here. So the left hand side you can write cos theta by 2 into cos pi by 6 plus sin theta by 2 into sin pi by 6, which is equal to root 3 times cos theta by 2. So you can divide both sides of the equation with cos theta by 2. So cos theta by 2 divided by cos theta by 2 becomes 1. So if you divide both sides with cos theta by 2, cos theta by 2 divided by cos theta by 2 into cos pi by 6 means cos 30 degrees, which is equal to root 3 by 2 plus sin theta by 2 divided by cos theta by 2 into sin pi by 6 means sin 30 degrees, that is 1 by 2. The right side you get root 3. This will get cancelled. You can simplify this yourself. You will get sin theta by 2 divided by cos theta by 2 as tan theta by 2. So those who want to copy the solution, they can take a pause and copy the solution. Of course, simplification is still not completed. So if you look at the last equation I have written. Here you get root 3 by 2 plus tan theta by 2 into 1 by 2. Sin theta by 2 divided by cos theta by 2, you can write tan theta by 2. So you get root 3 by 2 plus half of tan theta by 2 equal to root 3. You can simplify this further. Half of tan theta by 2 is equal to root 3 minus root 3 by 2. Or half of tan theta by 2 is equal to root 3 by 2. So you get tan theta by 2 equal to root 3. Must be knowing tan 60 degrees is root 3. So theta by 2 you can take 60 degrees. Or theta equal to 120 degrees. If you convert into radian, that will be 2 pi by 3 radian. That's the answer for the problem. If you want to copy the solution, you can take a pause and copy the solution. So I will be continuing the remaining problems, remaining questions 19 to 26 in my next class.